Hello and welcome to Coding for All, the only channel that is required to learn full stack web development through practical applications. You might be following the new series of lectures, and today is the last part of the new series that is for web design. We are done with color theory, typography, user interface or UI, and now is the last part, which is UX or user experience. So before we could start formally with this lecture, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so it will help me as well as you. And if you think it will help someone else, feel free to share it with the one, as it will be a great gesture of kindness. Now what is user experience, and is it the same as design? I would like to explain through a story, and I hope that you would be able to relate the story time with your childhood time. So here we start our story time. Once upon a time, there was a new college, and they called an architect for its renovation. When everything was done, they said, "Hey, Mr. Architect, you have paved no paths, but greenery all around. What's this?" He simply replied, "I will come after a couple of months, and then we'll pave the path." No one understood the reason behind, but as Mr. Architect was considered reputable in his field and circle, so said nothing and acted upon what he said. Few months passed, and Mr. Architect came back as he promised. The principal said, "Now it's the time to fulfill what you promised me." Mr. Architect said, "Yes, I remember. That is why I am here today. Now let us go to the grounds around the building." All went there, and he told to lay paved paths, and it was decided by him in just a few minutes. For which the principal was appalled, and he asked, "How could you be so sure and quick about it?" Mr. Architect smiled and replied, "I left the ground around the building, so when students will walk toward different blocks without any prescribed and paved path, they will move on the path that is shortest and convenient for them. And so you may see the brown path on the ground due to their footsteps. And now I'm simply paving those paths so students are easy and used to those paths, and it will be best for them." Story 8. So, what did you get from the story? Let me tell you. Design is what you impose on the user that you feel is aesthetically pleasant for them. The reality could either be that or opposite. But user experience, it means something easy to use. It is invisible and you can only have it when you cut across it. And when you use something that is best in user experience, you won't feel something new, but easy, familiar, and that you can do anything and everything so effortlessly. Similarly, as we did for UI, there are top 5 tips for creating best user experience. Don't get deceived by its simplicity, but these are enough to be known and practiced if you want to create the best user experience ever. Tip number 1, simplicity. As an example, look at this site Sina. This is a Chinese news site, and the first point is I don't know Chinese. Secondly, even if I were able to understand, I still wouldn't use this site as it's not simple at all. It is stuffed with everything, and it confuses me and causes me pain in my eye and gives me headache. On the other side, see this monocle, very user friendly, clear, clean, and neat, and you can use it for reading news and it won't hurt your eye. Tip number 2, consistency. It is very important that you must have consistent design or layout or menu of your website as well as functionality, so the users don't get confused on each page or view, and so the users don't have to learn your website each time. For the best usage, like infinity is an example that you must not follow. I would recommend you to just see infinity so that you may be clear what I'm trying to say. If you are making a new website, so you must not follow the format as used by infinity. The reason is that look at the different pages, the view, the functionality changes with each one. So it might be okay for the consistent user, but this won't be good at all for a new user. So before I go to the next tip, if you still haven't liked the video and subscribed to the channel, then I'm going to wait only for 5 seconds because it only takes 5 seconds of your time. So it starts right now. Like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, coming to our tip number 3, that is reading pattern. It is found that mainly two reading patterns are the most common ones. One is F-like reading pattern and the other is Z-type reading pattern. F pattern means that you will start from the top left and then move along the same line for some time and then will start from the left side again, and you will read mainly from the left side and seldom goes in long length on the right side. So you can see the site which we made together in the past. Tin Dog site. I have attached the link in the comment section below of the site so that you may visit. I have made with keeping F pattern in my mind. So the second pattern, or you can say the most common second pattern, is Z pattern. So you start from the top left, you go to the right corner, then move slant left down and then right. And for this you might see an example of Facebook login page. It starts from the left, goes to the right, then cross left corner and then right. Tip number 4. All platform design or responsiveness. This means that your site must adjust according to the view and may be a good fit even if it is a desktop view or a mobile view. The site will adjust itself accordingly and the user won't face any difficulty while using it. The statistics shows that 54.4% of website traffic is from mobile phones. So it must be user friendly or responsive. As an example, look at this site that we made. It adjusts and responds accordingly. The text size, images, banners, and text. In short, each and everything. So it will produce the best result and you can test that too. This is the desktop view and this is the mobile view. So it adjusts accordingly. And at the end of the video, I will tell you the secret methods of testing if your site is responsive and friendly or not. And at the end of that secret, a new secret will be exposed. The secret is a heavy burden, so stay tuned so I may transfer that burden to you. The last tip, tip number 5, is don't use for power for the evil. Just because now you know all the top tips, this doesn't mean that you may use it to manipulate the users by playing a trick with their psychology. Because it might give you success, but it will be short term. Just one time, but you won't get long lasting recurring customers or the users. And so you must not use what we refer to as dark patterns. As an example of this is Ryanair. They write long lists and hide the most important coverages so people may be charged off it. Now summarizing what we have learned today, our top 5 tips of UX design, including it must be simple, consistent, the site must be built by keeping reading patterns in mind, it must be responsive so it adjusts accordingly to each screen size, and lastly we came to know that our powers must not be used for evil purposes. That was all, but now the secret is in the treasure, and you have the key. The key is the like and share button. Even the subscribe would work. Click both buttons in 5 seconds and this will be open for you. Come on, click it right now. Thanks for using the key. The secret is that you can use 2 methods to see if your site is responsive or not. And the first one is to use the screen minimize. You can adjust the screen size, or while making you can view it on the different formats, which will tell you that either it will consume and it will respond to different sizes or not. So as I told you, you can change the size to see if your site is responsive or not. For this reason, just simply click and you see the site has adjusted itself and we can view the responsive side here, and it's fully functional. You can just raise the side and you will see that it will adjust accordingly. So that's how you can see if your site is responsive or not. It may adjust to all platforms or not. And the other is Google Mobile Friendly Test. And you know what the other secret is? The other secret is that both these sources are completely free. So you can see if your site is responsive or not through these two credible and authentic sources that are totally free throughout. So what are you waiting for? Test them now, and you can test it with my made website that I have mentioned in the comment section below, and you can tell me in the comment section if it was responsive or not. So at the end, I would like to thank you for staying, cooperating, and learning. We are progressing toward more advanced and practical concepts. So stay tuned. Until then, take care, good luck, and bye. See you next week, full stack web developer.